Lucas was 8 years old, with bright green eyes that sparkled whenever he laughed. He lived in a small blue house at the end of Willow Lane, a house that held all his best memories. He learned to ride his bike on the driveway. He built a fort behind the oak tree. He painted a crooked rainbow on his bedroom wall. But one warm morning, Mom and Dad sat with Lucas on the couch. "We're moving to a new house," Mom said gently. "A bigger one," Dad added, "and closer to school." Lucas's heart squeezed tight. "But what about this house? My room, my tree, my fort?" Nobody had the answer that could make him feel better. As boxes slowly filled the rooms, Lucas wandered around, touching everything lightly, like he was memorizing it. The squeaky stair, the tiny crack in the hallway wall, the window where the sun painted golden squares on his floor. Each thing whispered a memory. He felt sad, confused, and a little bit scared. "What if I don't love the new house?" he whispered to himself. On the final night, Lucas couldn't sleep. He wrapped himself in his blanket and looked around his nearly empty room. It looked strange, echoey, unfamiliar. He sat up. "Old house, are you going to forget me?" he whispered into the quiet. A soft breeze blew through the open window, brushing his cheek. It almost felt like the house was answering. Lucas closed his eyes and imagined the walls smiling, the floor creaking its soft goodnight, the ceiling humming the lullaby he'd fallen asleep to for years. And then he knew. The house wasn't leaving him. The memories would go with him wherever he went. The next morning, before the moving truck arrived, Lucas asked for one last walkthrough. He touched the kitchen counter where he'd rolled cookie dough. He pressed his hand to the living room floor where he'd built his first block tower. He stood under the oak tree where he'd once pretended to be a pirate captain. And then he whispered, "Thank you for taking care of me." He felt lighter, braver. When Lucas reached the new house, he stepped inside slowly. It smelled different. It sounded different. It felt strange. But when he opened a box labeled Lucas's room, he found something that made him smile. A small piece of the crooked rainbow painting. His parents had carefully cut it out from his old wall and saved it. "We knew you'd want a piece of home to come with you," Mom said. Lucas hugged it close, and suddenly, the new room didn't feel so scary. It felt like a new beginning, with his old memories tucked safely inside his heart. That day, Lucas learned something important. Goodbyes aren't the end. They're just the beginning of a new story, with all the old chapters still inside you.